The news is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has bought the XFL. This in an exclusive and nice scoop by Sportico. The XFL has been sold to a group that includes former WWE star Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, giving the bankrupt Football League the kind of star power that may draw even non-sports fans. Now, we know that, one, The Rock is a capable and probably most bankable action movie star working today. He teamed up with Jerry Cardinale's Redbird Capital to buy the league just hours before it was planned to go to auction, just like this morning. They paid $15 million, splitting it evenly. Johnson's business partner, Danny Garcia, is also his ex-wife and will be a stakeholder as well. Redbird has made a litany of sports-related investments, including some with ties to the National Football League and its players. This means that the XFL is going to be handed into another pro wrestling entertainer's hands, and that means that at $15 million, The Rock and the Redbird Capital Investment Group have essentially bought this thing for pennies on the dollars. If you believe Alpha Entertainment, which is the parent company of the XFL run by one Vince McMahon, it's that the assets and liabilities range between $10 million and $50 million. So if you can get it for $15 million, that's really great. McMahon, of course, rebooted the XFL in 2018, spent 2 years developing the 18 league only to scuttle it after the pandemic really forced his hand. It drew 3 million viewers the first week, but it kind of tailed off after that. What I'm interested in is how we're going to make this work for the next 3 seasons of Ballers, which is a show that I'm not necessarily fond of, but I appreciate how it operates in the landscape that is sports television entertainment, which by and large sucks. Plus, I wanted to beat Chewy Ejiofor fighting Mark Wahlberg on some ice, but that's another discussion altogether. I think that this is going to be interesting because this is really going to step on The Rock's ability to be who he is now. It's very difficult to run a professional sports league. It is even more difficult to do that when you are making action movies and chasing enormous apes around large cities. When you are quite literally dangling off of skyscrapers, where the movie is called Skyscraper. Like, I can go through The Rock's greatest hits, of course, but it's more fun to talk about him being the Tooth Fairy. It's more fun to talk about him being a quarterback that was so skinny that we thought The Rock was anorexic. We were like, homie, are you okay? It's even more fun to talk about The Rock in The Rundown, which is quite literally a great movie. And then there's my favorite opening scene to where he says to my man, hey, I got to have the ring, and he's got to take on the world champion, what we think is like Dallas Cowboys stand-in, to go get this ring. And then we have Walking Tall, which again, when am I not going to be up for a brown man in a pickup truck with a piece of wood in the back of his truck to go regulate? All right? For once, no, that's just the second time in my life where I've seen a black cop do what, feels like some cops do. Beat your taillight in and say, oh yeah, now here's your ticket. Or you got Alonzo going over here planting drugs. Like, what I'm saying here is The Rock that we have known cannot be The Rock that we will know when he's running a professional sports league. However, I'm here for it because that means that I'm probably going to get football in the spring. And if I get football in the spring, I get football year round. I don't even have to wait for the FCS teams to get it together. I don't have to wait for the Ivy League to decide to play football in the spring because I'm so starved for it. It means that I get pro football. And while a lot of y'all were talking noise about the pro football that was on television in February and March, I'll bet you want it now. I'll bet you looking around going, you know what I could really use? I could really use Bob Stoops in a sun visor in a light blue polo calling Jeff Badette's number. I could really use watching Jordan Tamu run zone read. I could really use watching Corn Dog be hapless at quarterback for Tampa Bay. I could really use watching Jim Zorn talk about the weather and how cold it was, but our fans still showed up in Seattle. I could really use some football without anybody getting hurt or getting in trouble. Like, this is what I could use. And so this is good news to me. And if The Rock can put together the kind of ownership group and the kind of executives that it will take to make the XFL work, I am going to be rooting for it. It also means that my Dallas Renegade jersey with the number 1 on the back and my last name on the back gets some more run, I hope. Because with buying the XFL, you're also going to be able to give more jobs at a time when we saw unemployment go up to as high as 14.7%. We saw 26 million Americans lose their jobs, many of which worked in XFL offices. It's weird to think that I'm actually going to have to call up The Rock and be like, yo, y'all still owe me $300. You owe me my money. Pay me my money. I can't wait to do that to The Rock. I'm going to do it too. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with both my hands clenched, and we'll see how that goes, but I'm going to do it. If Kevin Hart can step to that dude, I can step to that dude. It's fine. It'll work. So knowing that we get the XFL into the hands of somebody that we love and trust, which is a tremendously big deal. Like, I can't undersell how his credibility is going to help this thing work if it does work. I'm also kind of sort of optimistic. I'm optimistic that he can figure this out. I'm optimistic because this is the dude that had $7 in his pocket when Jim Ross went down to Florida to take him out to eat, and then tells Jim Ross, hey, JR, I don't have enough money to pay for lunch here. To which JR bought the man lunch and said, I just want to know what kind of man you are. That's why this is here. Well, I know you can wrestle. I want to know if you're going to show up to work on time. I want to know if you're going to work your butt off. I only want to employ and bring talent to Mr. McMahon that I feel really great about. And that's exactly what happened. He goes from being Rocky Maivia to The Rock, to the most bankable professional wrestler in history. And remember, this is an entertainment industry that breeds bankable talent. Then he goes and makes the crossover into movies. And now we're all not just looking forward to Vin Diesel, we're looking forward to friggin' The Rock as a cop. You got me out here rooting for a cop that is chasing street racers. Now, as a dude that might have raced some cars and some motorcycles in his day, I'm not going to just be out here rooting for the Johnny Law. I'm just not going to do it. But if you put The Rock out there, all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? Me and Lou Hobbs might be able to do some stuff. I've seen Hobbs and Shaw 89 times. Okay? And I still lose my mind talking whenever I hear Idris Elba say the best phrase in the history of movies. I'm Black Superman. And then that just got me so charged up. I love it so much. And now I'm thinking about this. What if he got Vin Diesel and Idris Elba and even that dude Mark Wahlberg to join into this stuff, right? Maybe they get their own franchises. Maybe we can get to this place where we absolutely positively get football. Mayor, I see you chomping over